Yeah, my name is Femi Ayanbadejo, 11-year NFL veteran. Played on the Ravens 2000 Super Bowl team. I've been, I've done radio, I've done TV, have been a lover of sports analytics for a long time. I did my MBA at Johns Hopkins, and through a colleague at Hopkins, I was introduced to Dr. DeBura back in about 2017. And Dr. DeBura was actually my mentor when it came to AI and the use of AI and the potential, different levers that AI is used in now and the future of AI. So that's kind of how I got brought along into the space. A lot of it comes from him. So.
And my name is Anton DeBora. In addition to being CTO of Advanced Sports AI, I'm also on the faculty of the Computer Science Department at Johns Hopkins University. And my background is a combination of technology, computer science, and sports. Long time, from my playing days in college at Hopkins, actually, and then my affiliation with a minor league team, and then building a company that does sports analytics consulting for professional teams. So that's really where I come from. When this opportunity came along, I jumped at it right away because I saw this is the future.
The regulatory environment and the legalization of mobile sportsbook gambling really created a fire and an opportunity. And as you see, a lot of people enter the marketplace trying to come up with strategies around cappers, handicappers, and predictions. What is new to the space is the AI component, and that's Dr. DeBura's expertise. That's become my expertise over time. Obviously, playing 11 years in the NFL, working in media around the NFL, doing radio and TV for the NFL over the years. Not only was the regulatory environment ripe, but the mood and appetite around the NFL is at a fever pitch.
The initial wave, the initial work we did was fine, but I never would have done this without Femi, because I'm known in the analytics circle as the hybrid guy. I know that the numbers will never tell the entire story. And in my dealings with professionals, with coaches, managers, front office people, we can talk about the numbers, but every time you'll hear from the pros, the guys in the locker rooms, in the clubhouses, on the field, say, yeah, but you don't know this, that the numbers will never be able to tell you. And that really influences things. So that insight, the fact that Femi's been in the trenches, literally, just really makes this whole effort very special. That's why I'm so excited about it.
Yeah, I think one of the things about numbers too, and Tony and I talk about this quite a bit, when you think about analytics, a lot of times things are backward looking. The goal is, what can you project forward? Like, almost like when you're analyzing a stock, like what's the guidance for a company going into Q3 out of Q2? What we're able to do in some ways is we're looking at the guidance, we're looking at where the numbers are going and what performance says about what the future of the game outcome looks like, right? We're predicting the outcome of the game before the game actually happens based on historical information, but also on what we're projecting from the players that are on the field. And that's a skill, right? It's not, I don't want to use the word art because I think it minimizes the ability to calculate certain things or have confidence in future calculations. But I think what this leans into is the two different algorithms that we use, right? So we are very focused on the spread and the point total. Within that context, we have high confidence predictions and we have our baseline predictions. Now, when I say baseline, that's not a pejorative term, that's not a negative. It just means there's not enough signal to make it a high confidence pick. Although historically, our baseline predictions are 60% accurate, which is bonkers, 3 years of back testing. What's really crazy, and this is Tony's baby and specialty, is our high confidence picks. We have weeks where we're hitting 80%. On average, we're just over 74% on our high confidence picks right now. We think we can actually do better. We have the receipts and the numbers to validate that and prove it. 3 years of back testing on this, and last year's performance, which your company knows firsthand and your customers know firsthand. That's what separates us, I think, from the competition. Not only are we willing to talk about it plainly, but we actually have the receipts that show the performance.
For people who are wondering about AI and, is it really everything that it's stacked up to be? In this application, I say absolutely. And the reason is you can think about certain forms of AI as big, what we call correlation engines or connections. AI can find hidden connections between aspects of a problem, in this case, of a game, a matchup between two teams. And for people who have been in this space a long time and working with human handicappers, you can think of it, if you want, as, there's a sort of a rationale to say, well, these two teams, this team is coming off of 2 wins on the road. They always do better when they're home, but they're short on rest. And this team is pretty good. Their defense is pretty good against the style of offense against the other team. Human handicappers usually stop after a few of those, and you can get conflicts. You've seen the charts where it says, well, this team's better at this, and this team's better at this, and you look at it and you say, okay, well, what does that tell me now? What AI does is it sorts all of that out and it takes care of that. It really takes this all to the next level, to a level that human handicappers would really never be able to accomplish. And so that's the big difference. So it makes a lot of sense. It's not really magic. There's a method to this madness, and I think that, in my opinion, this predictive analytics for NFL games is really close to the ideal application for AI.
I think one of the things that is interesting to customers is the Vegas line, right? And the nature of the Vegas line. Remember, Vegas is trying to create a balanced equation, right? There is a market inefficiency and arbitrage opportunity in betting if you understand what moves lines. And fans move lines. Money moves lines. Guess what doesn't move lines for us? Money doesn't move lines for us. The analogy I like to use, and because The Matrix is one of my favorite movies of all time, we're Neo and Vegas is Agent Smith. Agent Smith is part of the system. We can bend the rules and break the rules. We're even making the rules as we go. Because at the end of the day, we're getting to the truth. And we don't let anything that is flashy or distracting distract us from the ultimate truth, which is the outcome of the game. We are not beholden to any of those rules. Our goal is to make the best prediction we can based on the variables in play that day at that time. And nobody does that better than we do. Our high confidence picks, we are just above 74% on the spread. I believe we're just under 70% on the point total. So in aggregate, when you add it all together and average our high confidence together, we're over 70%. Tony recently has actually made a more sensitive algorithm that we're testing right now that has had accuracy around 80%. Now that shrinks the number of games that fall into that bucket, but we are really pushing boundaries now where we can say there are opportunities and times where we're over 80% accurate on our high confidence predictions. Our high confidence aperture is about 1/4 of the games. Now our goal is to make sure that the 5 best high confidence predictions that we give customers are well over 70%. And so customers can expect to get somewhere between 4 and 6 high confidence picks per week. Our goal is to give them the best 5. And understanding that the average accuracy will be closer to 74% than 70%.
And when we talk about human in the loop, we're not talking about just any human. I'm really delighted to have Femi as part of our team because in all of my years working with some of the best minds in the game and sports, I've come to regard them as the equivalent of chess masters or concert pianists, where their brains are literally rewired. That's how I look at it. From all the years, day in and day out of training. It's the same impact on the brain and what their intuition leads us to. And so having having that is critical. And conversely, not having that, I can't even imagine what that would be like if there isn't someone on the team who is the chess master in this process.
And what I think is important is diversity of mind, different people coming from different perspectives. If I'm the NFL analytics master, Tony is the algorithm master, right? And so when you add, and then you add in like the team itself, you have Mike Peven, who's on our team, who is a savant in his own right. He could be doing a whole bunch of other stuff. He's the other PhD on the team, right? We have these young, bright minds that are getting scholarships from the DoD and getting to go to Cambridge for free. It's insane. Like, the team that we have is insane. And when you sit down with us, it's a bunch of nerdy, fun-loving, sports-loving guys. And you wouldn't know the brain power behind it until you see the outcome, like the actual predictions. That's what tells you that we know what we're talking about.
I think we're at a unique moment in time where we are transforming what we can do with predictiveness in the NFL. And so there's more work to be done, but tremendous opportunity here.
Yeah, see, you notice he's not telling you how it works. He's doing that on purpose. You see how he's doing that?
Because I could explain it to you. I'm a good explainer,
Yeah.
and I could explain it to you right now.
Yeah, I think that that's the card holding. You know what I mean? Let me just add this piece to it, because I know it's a little bit of a black box, but it's supposed to be to some degree. What we can say is that if you look at games, right, without giving too much away, each game has its own signal, right? And what makes the high confidence games high confidence is that they have a much louder signal. Now, how we find that signal, we can't really share, because then we'll have people trying to replicate it. But this concept of noise versus signal, noise being noisy and unclear, signal being loud and clear, like saying, we're right here, this is where we are, this is what we think is going to happen. That's kind of the best way that we can explain how high confidence works. But it's genius in its complexity and simplicity simultaneously. Now, not to say that it's simple, but when we talk internally about it, and when Tony talks about how he's done it, it's pretty genius. It's almost amazing sometimes that the answer is kind of right there, but you take this kind of circuitous route to get to it. But it's pretty brilliant. I know I'm starting to speak in platitudes too now, but yeah. How's that? Is that okay?
That's pretty
okay?
Good.
All right, good. All right.
Yeah. The ideal client is someone who sticks with the program, because it's funny. These are statistical processes, so we can give predictions, we can give results over a number of games, and so the greatest chance of being able to achieve those results with us is to follow the entire program, ideally throughout the season. Really, you have to have a large sample size. And so that's really the client that has the long view and understands that they will reach their goals if they just stick with it.
The people that like to bet and really care about ROI, our ROI is about 35%. So imagine if you're going to bet $100 a game, you can expect to win $35 on every game that you bet with us. That's a standard number. You bet 100, you're going to win 35. You bet 1,000, you're going to win 350. You bet 10,000, you're going to win 3,500. You bet 100,000, you're going to win 35,000. You bet $1 million, you're going to win $350,000, right? So those are just the fractions. That's just how it works. If you're really a degenerate, and I mean that in a loving way, and you love betting, we're the people that you want to bet with, right? We have all the degen jokes and the degen memes. Forget about all that. I think these are smart people. If you want to win and you want to take advantage of the opportunity, then you got to go with the best predictive team that's out there, and that's us.
Understanding the nature of the program and being willing to use an advisory service to achieve your goals. That's what it's all about.
I think you said it good. I don't need to add anything to that. That's perfect.